What's a question I can help you with on 159, 160? Yeah. 8? All right. Problem number 8. We have 2, -3, and 4, 5. And I believe they want us to find it in slope-intercept form. Okay. So slope-intercept form means I'm going to get to y equals mx plus b eventually. So first thing I'm going to take note of, do either of those points represent the y-intercept? Meaning, do I have a 0 in the x spot of any of those points? No. So then my first step, if you remember, is x1, y1, x2, y2. Agree with that so far? So I just have to label. And I always label from left to right. I like this shirt, by the way. That's sweet, man. All right, so then I want to find the slope. So the slope equation's this. Okay, so I'm just going to plug directly in. So I get 5 minus 3 and 4 minus 2. This gives me a plus sign, so I get 8 over 2. And 8 over 2 reduces to 4. So right now, I know the slope a lot of times I'm telling you, hey, make it as a fraction. But when we're working out the equation, if it can be a whole number, it'll be nicer for you because you don't have to distribute a fraction over the parentheses. Okay, the second step is I'm going to use something called point slope, which this is another equation. And notice point slope kind of looks like slope equation, except, we don't have the 2's up there, but it looks like this is kind of moved up, right? So that's kind of something to notice. So I've already identified x1 and y1, and I just found the slope. So I'm going to plug those into this equation. So I'm going to get y minus 3 equals 4 times x minus 2. Now let me just stop there. Is that okay so far? And if we do a test or quiz, I'm gonna put the equations up. I'll put slope equation up for you. I'll put point slope up for you. I'll put slope intercept up for you. You just know how to use and when to use them. Okay? So the first one is we find the slope, labeling. The second one, we're plugging into point slope. So if I go and start working this up, I know this is y plus 3, and I'm going to distribute over the parentheses. Do you feel comfortable with that so far? And then I want to get y all by itself, so I'm going to subtract 3 from both sides. So this is going to give me y equals 4x. -8 minus 3 becomes -11. And that's our equation that comes out. Seem okay? Did I answer the question? Did I help you out on that? Cool. What else did you see on the problems that I can help you with, my friends? Go ahead. 9? Sure. Number 9, we have a 1, 0, and 5, -10. So first question, are either of those the y-intercept? Meaning, do I have a 0 in the x position? No, so I don't have a y-intercept. I do have a 0, but it happens to be in the y spot, which means I found the x-intercept basically, and that's not going to help me too much on the problem. So first step, label x1, y1, x2, y2. Find the slope, which is this. So that's going to give me -10 minus 0, 5 minus 1. -10 minus 0 is just -10. 5 minus 1 is 4. Reduce it. So that's going to be my slope. Yeah.
We have to write all of that out.
Well, I write it all out so you can see my progression, but some of you might be able to not even put this, maybe go, oh, I could just use in my head, get to his point, and then maybe reduce.
Yeah.
I mean, you put as much work as you would need. If you're getting the same answer as me, unless I make a mistake, but that's always possible, right? Okay? So I have that. Now, I've already labeled this x1, y1, and I found my slope. Agree? So then I'm going to use those with my point slope equation, which is this. I'm going to plug those in. So I get y minus 0 equals slope, which is -5 over 2, x minus 1. Hey, what's y minus 0? It's just y. And then I'm going to distribute over So negative 5 over 2 times x is negative 5 halves x. Negative times negative is positive. 5 over 2 times 1 is 5 over 2. So this one might not be so fun to graph because you have a y-intercept of 5 halves, which is 2.5, and then try and do a slope off that. So I probably wouldn't give you one of those to graph on a test or quiz. What else did you see that I can help you with? Yeah.
Number 6.
6? Yeah. Number 6. Okay, so they have this as written as functional notation, okay? So first off, we have to recognize how we can write this. If I want to write this as a point, this is going to be the point 6 comma negative 2. And if I want to write this as a point, that becomes a point 0 comma negative 5. We good so far? Quick question. Do I know the y-intercept? Yeah, I have a 0 in the x spot. So that's the y-intercept. So my b value is going to be negative 5. So remember, I'm trying to get to this equation. So far I know this. So I just have to find the slope now, right? So if I find the slope, which is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1, I can label this x1, y1, x2, y2. Plug them in, I get negative 5 minus negative 2 over 0 minus 6, which that's going to give me, let's see, that's plus, right? Negative 5 plus 2 is negative 3. 0 minus 6 is negative 6. So looks like I have a slope of positive 1/2. So then I can just take that and plug it in there. So I get y equals 1/2 x minus 5. So this one I did not have to use point slope on because I knew the y-intercept. If I had used point slope on it, I'd still get the same exact answer. But sometimes you just have to use a little critical thinking and say, hey, do I have the y-intercept? Is one of my x values 0? If that's the case, I have the y-intercept, which is great. Okay? What else can I help you with, friends? Go ahead. Oh, wait. What was the one I messed up on? 7? Is it 7? Is that the one? So I think on the video I might have messed up, which is very possible. So when I make these videos, I try to make them a bunch at the same time. It's that one, right? I think that's the one you said I made an error on.
Yeah.
Okay, first thing you have to recognize is this is going to give me the point 0, negative 1, and this is going to give me the point 2, negative 1. Agree? Okay, so, hey, what is this? That's B, right? That's my y-intercept. Agree? So far I might know this. So far I think I could do this. mx minus 1. Okay, and this might be a little bit different than I had done it on the video, but let's see if I can get the correct answer. So I just need to find the slope now. So I have x1, I have y1, I have x2, I have y2. That's a y. So I get negative 1 minus negative 1 and 2 minus 0. So let's recognize this. That's a plus, yes? So that becomes negative 1 plus 1 over 2, which that gives me 0, I believe. And 0 on top means 0 for an answer. So I have a slope of 0. So if I take that and plug it in right there, I'm going to get y equals 0x minus 1. That answer's fine, but you also could put this for your answer because 0 times x is just 0. Okay? Yeah.
I thought there was no solution.
So the 0 is fine. You're allowed to have a slope of 0. This, if I had graphed it, if you think about what this would look like on a graph, 0, negative 1 is right here. And then 2, negative 1 is right here. So it's just this horizontal line. So a horizontal line has a slope of 0. If it was an undefined, it would mean it would be a vertical line. So you'd have x equals a number. Okay? Is there anything else I could help you with on any of those? We good? Okay, cool. Happy? Content? So again, hey, friends, I want to offer the opportunity, if you ever would need extra help, I'm off periods 2, 4, 6, and 8. If I'm not in this classroom, I'm right on the other side of this wall in my classroom, so please feel free to come see me, okay? All right, would you turn to page, what is a function? I think that's the first page. I believe it's page 161 of your notes. And if you don't have any paper, if you don't have your notes with you, you can come grab a sheet of paper up there. There's pencils in the drawer. Carefully do it. And can I come sit here in the back row? Not because you guys are doing anything wrong. It's just I tend to get in the way when I stand up front.
Yeah.
This big old shiny melon of mine kind of messes with things. All right. So, what is function notation? So this is a fancy way to say why. Okay? So the comment might be, so why do we use it? Well, a lot of times we use it if we have multiple linear equations given. You have like y equals something, and then another one says y equals something, and then you have another one that says y equals something. If y is all the same letter, but if I use f at x and g at x and h at x and m at x and x at x, I mean, there's different ways you can label it. So this is a way that you can name different linear functions, different lines, by using, you might see f at x, you might see g at x. These are the main ones that you kind of go back and forth with. Sometimes you might use h at x. They all mean the exact same thing. They mean y. Okay? So this means y equals negative 3x minus 5. But then we have something labeled as f at 2. This is said f at 2. Some people might say f of 2. I like f at 2 because f at 2 says, hey, f at 2, that means in the x direction, a y value is going to take place. So what I'm going to do with this is I'm going to take this 2, and I'm going to replace it right there with that x. Okay? So I'm going to get f at 2 is equal to 3 times 2 minus 5. Where that 2 is in parentheses is where x used to live. And then I just do the math behind it. So f at 2 is equal to 6 minus 5. 6 minus 5 just comes out to be 1. Okay? So if you remember from our homework, this became a point 2 comma 1. Okay? That was where that, when I was changing them last night, or for last night's homework, that's where that came from. Okay? I replaced x to get something for y. Okay? So same thing on the second one. I'm going to plug this 0 in for x on the same equation. So I'm going to have f at 0 is equal to 3 times 0 minus 5. 3 times 0, I believe, is 0. And 0 subtract 5 is negative 5. So again, this yields me the point 0 comma negative 5 as a point if we were plotting it on a graph.
Can you hold it?
Yeah, sure can. Man, there's smoke coming out of my pencil. I'm writing too fast. Also, I have a sneeze that wants to come out. Maybe it's not going to come out yet. Also, a reminder, on the Schoology, I have the answer. There it came. Woo! I feel blessed. Thank you. If you look on Schoology, if you find, for our class, you'll see WLF or WLE folder. It's an orange folder. Inside there are the odd answer videos worked out. Okay? Hey, friends, what do you think I should do with this negative 1?
Would you put it in the...
Yeah, put it in for x. Good job. Okay, so I get 3 times negative 1 minus 5. And then f at negative 1 is equal to 3 times negative 1 is negative 3 minus 5. So f at negative 1 is equal to negative 8. So again, this does yield me the point negative 1 comma negative 8. So that is something I can plot. So now, my friends, does letter D look a little bit different how it's stated than A, B, and C? Does it look different? Yeah. I'm pretty sure that this is a much different. Oh, battery's low. Why is my battery low? Okay, that must mean one thing. Hey, who's charging the phone up front? Hey, can you move that? There's a plug over there under that computer. I just need to get my charger. Sorry about the pause, friends. We've all had this problem, at least you have with your phones, 'cause some of you plug in. All right, so we're plugged back in. Good. All right, so we all agree that looks different. Agree? So this doesn't mean I'm plugging anything for x. This means I'm setting f at x. I'm setting f at x equal to what we have. It's equal to 10 was what they say. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say 10 is equal to 3x minus 5. Okay? Does that make sense how I changed it? So I did not sub in for x. I plugged it in for f at x. That's why I changed it from yellow to pink. And then I just need to solve this like a first couple of weeks of our class. So add 5 to both sides. I get 15 equals 3x. Divide by 3. And that gives me x equals 5, which means the point 5 comma 10, because remember I said f at x is like a fancy way to say y. So that's like saying y equals. So that's how we get that point. Okay? Let's see, is there anything else on that page? I might have that on the next page. Okay, so that's the first kind of thing to go with. Okay? May I move on? Is anyone still copying anything down? All right, let's see. Okay, so this looks like it at the bottom. So input is the x, output is the y. Make sense? You've seen the input output. They call it an input output machine. I think it's always dumb because it's not really a machine. But so this means I'm going to replace x. So if I do the math, I'm going to say if that value is 4, I'm going to go negative 3 times negative 4 plus 4. So that's 12 plus 4. So that gives me 16. So I get 16 down there, which yields me the point negative 4 comma 16 if I were to plot it. Okay? But then we say, hey, we have the output. So this is the output. So now I'm going to replace the y value with the number given. So I'll change the color. So I'm going to say 13 is equal to negative 3x plus 4. And then I'll write this one over here. Negative 14 is equal to negative 3x plus 4. And I'm going to solve both for x. So I'm going to subtract 4 from both sides. That gives me 9 equals negative 3x. Divide each side by negative 3. So 9 over negative 3 is negative 3 is equal to x. So I get negative 3 here, which this yields me the point negative 3 comma 13. And I do the same thing with the other one. I'm going to solve for the 14. So I'm going to subtract 4 from both sides. Negative 18 equals negative 3x. Divide each side by negative 3. Negative over negative is positive, so that comes out to 6. So I get a 6. So this yields me the point 6 comma negative 14. You doing okay? All right. So the anxiety level's coming back up. Now remember, anytime we have a word problem on a test or quiz, I will actually post it up on the board. We will highlight and read it together. Actually, it's me reading it to you. You don't have to read it out loud. And then we'll go through it, okay? So, looks like talking about Bennett. A person named Bennett and his friends decide to go bowling. Is there anything mathematically related on this first sentence? Bennett and his friends went to go bowling? No. The cost for the group is $15 for shoe rentals plus $4 per game. Okay? So the cost, I'm going to pay $15 to rent the shoes, but then it's going to cost me $4 per game. So I'm going to say that y equals 4x, because the number of games I'm going to do is going to impact our price, plus the $15 I have to pay to get the shoes. Okay, let's pretend you don't have your own bowling shoes. Okay, so how much will it cost to bowl 2 games? Well, this is going to refer to games. So y equals 4 times 2 plus 15. So that's 4 times 2 is 8 plus 15. Looks like it's going to cost us $23 if Bennett and his friends decide to bowl. They get their shoes, they bowl 2 games, they wind up having to pay $23 for the time that they were at playing the 2 games. Okay? I don't know if that's a good price or not. I haven't bowled in many years. I don't have anything against bowling. I just don't do it. All right. So write a function relating to the total cost of the outing for the number of games bowled. Oh, we already did that. So I had C at X. So that means our cost. These are our games. Is equal to 4x plus 15. We already made it. Okay? That's going to be our games. So the number of games that we would bowl is on that. If I bowled 10 games, I'd get 4 times 10, which is 40. 40 plus 15 is 55. So 10 games would cost us $55 to do. Again, do I think it's a good price or not? I have no idea. If you're out entertaining yourself and you're there for a couple hours, maybe it's a good price that you're dividing 55 up or however many games you're doing. Okay? Let's see, do I have anything else on that one? All right. So then, graph the equation. Oh, I have to go back. Graph C at x equals 4x plus 15. Okay, so this is going to be cost. This is going to be games. Notice I'm only using the positive numbers. So I think I can label this one 0 games, 1 game, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. But I have to go get up to 15 in the y direction somehow. Okay, so I might not count by 1s, I might count by 2s. Okay, and I think that's going to allow us to graph it. So this right here is my y-intercept. That's my b value. So I'm going to plot 0, 15. So 0, 15 is about right there. Does that seem okay? So then my slope, this is my slope. And I'm going to put that over 1. Now, what I have to be careful of, friends, is I'm counting by 2s in the y direction. Agree? So I'm going to go up 4. So I'm going to go up 1, 2, 3, 4. And then I'm going to go to the right 1. I counted by 1. I'm going to come over right there. So to about 19, 1. So here's my second point. Okay? And then if you draw in your line of best fit, it looks kind of like that. Okay? The more you bowl, the more you pay. That seems to make sense. And then use the graph to estimate the number of games you could bowl for $30. Ooh, 30's up here. Agree? So my graph isn't really fitting with that. So is that 30 an X or a Y value? Is that 30 up there vertically an X or a Y value? Okay, and we called Y in this case C at X for our cost. Okay, so I'm going to say C at 30 is equal to 4X plus 15. Oops, if I'm going to do a 30, that X isn't going to be there. It's going to be a 30. So 4 times 30 is 120 plus 15. So C at 30. So it looks like if I bowl 30 games with me and my friends, we're dropping $135. If you bowl 30 games, that's a lot of bowling. Holy crow. You'd be there for a while. That's a lot of Wii video bowling, isn't it? Okay? So sometimes the graph will relate that to you. Sometimes it won't. We didn't make our graph quite big enough to deal with it. All right. Can you go over to page 162? You ready? Okay. There's a person in this story. Lexi had her car towed when it broke down. Is that any math in that problem, in that question sentence? No. It cost her $3 per mile to get it towed, plus a flat fee of $50. So what that means is Lexi called this towing company, and they said it's going to cost you $50 for us to get out there, and then however far we have to tow your car, it's going to cost you $3 extra each mile we go. Okay? And the function for her cost was C at M is equal to 3M plus 50, where M is miles. This function calculates the cost per mile a car is towed. And this is determined P at 12. I think this is a misprint. I think that should be C at 12. Okay? So C at 12, interpret what it means in the context. Well, let's figure out what C at 12 means. So C at 12 is equal to 36 plus 50. I think that's 86. Okay? What does this mean in the context of the problem? Lexi paid $86 for a tow of 12 miles. Okay? Is that a good price or not? I don't know. If you're stuck out in the middle of nothing, it might be something good to take your car to get your car fixed. Okay? Then you have to pay the mechanic to fix your car too. Ooh, boy. Determine the output of the function when the input is 100. Remember, input is the x value. Interpret both the output and the input in the context of the problem. So this means, hey, we're going to do it C at 100 is equal to 3 times 100 plus 50. So C at 100 is 300 plus 50. So C at 100 is equal to 350. What does this mean in the context of the problem? For a 100-mile tow, Lexi, our star of the story, paid $350. Yikes. You get a 100-mile tow, man, you're way up Kansas border trying to get something towed all the way back here to Denver area. Yeesh. May I move on? We're almost done. Okay, this is just a repeat of the story. Interpret the Y-intercept. So the Y-intercept is this. Agreed? That's my B value. So 0, 50. So let's say Lexi called the tow truck company. The tow truck gets there. Lexi's like, yeah, the battery's totally dead. Lexi gets in the car, vroom, and starts right up. Tow truck driver saying, it's $50 for me just to show up. So a tow truck driver is charging Lexi $50 for not even towing her car. It's your initial startup cost. Interpret the slope in the context of the problem. Well, this is my slope. Okay, so I'm going to make the slope a fraction. And this means the y direction are miles or dollars. So it's going to cost $3 extra for each 1 mile tow. Could you imagine you call a tow truck, the guy comes out and your car starts and they still charge you $50 just to be there? Oh man.
Well, it's like a convenience fee.
Yeah, I guess they're giving you time to get there. It's like you used the wrong key to start your car there, you moron. Can I move on?
Yeah.
All right. This is going to be 400 equals 3m plus 50. So you would just have to solve that. We can do that later. And then they want to know if somebody is charged $149, did they get towed 33 miles? So we could ask that later, okay? So my friends, word problems I know are not your best friend. I get it. But will you do the best you can on pages 163 and 164? Again, the even problems are all worked out on Schoology if you want to watch that video. Other than that, friends, get out of here. Have a great day. Take care of one another. See.